our second demo today with the ReadyCarved meats produced by Grecian Delight Kronos, using gyro meat in this recipe. And this is actually a variation of a really traditional Greek dish called makaronia me kiba, which is basically pasta with a ground meat sauce. And all the Greek ingredients that go into a basic tomato-based meat sauce, which basically are cinnamon, bay leaves, and allspice. But of course, onions and garlic, which are pretty much the start of almost every Greek savory recipe. So we're gonna get started, and I'll talk about how to use the ReadyCarved meat as we get to it. The first thing I'm gonna do is just saute, cook the onion and garlic. And I've just got chopped onion here. A lot of it, as you can see. We do love onions in Greek cooking. And I'm just going to get that softened up a little bit. So this dish is something that almost all of us who have a Greek background grow up with. It's basic pasta with meat sauce. Sometimes we also call it vaporissia makaronia, if anyone here speaks Greek, because it's a classic offering on ferry boats that travel throughout the Greek islands. And a little bit of garlic goes in here as soon as that onion is softened up. And this sauce usually takes a good hour or so to simmer, but when you use the ReadyCarved meat, which is already cooked, it's a much faster process. So again, just talking a little bit about the versatility of use of these products and the time-saving qualities. I'm just getting out the inner green core, which can be a little bit bitter. This is also a sauce that has different applications. You can use it in a pasticcio. You can use it in any sort of vegetable and ground meat combination, even something as classic as moussaka. You can add rice to it and use it as a filling in something like a stuffed pepper or stuffed tomato. And it's also great inside omelets. In fact, there are some pretty traditional dishes from different parts of Greece that call for ground meat as a filling. So this would be a nice, easy way to make a dish like that. You can add a little bit of salt to the onion as it cooks to help dry out some of the moisture, and that will help the onion cook a little bit faster. And if any of you were watching Dean Richards yesterday, this was the dish that we made together. He made a paella, and I made this sauce. And we want to just get the meat chopped as well. I want to get some texture on the meat. I want it to be chopped, but not too finely chopped, because it's actually very nice to have a little bit of texture, to feel the meat when you taste the sauce. And this also kind of reminds me of stories that I used to hear from older cooks in Greece about how they always used to hand chop their own kima, their own chopped meat. So the idea of a chunkier chopped meat is actually really traditional. You can also add a little bit of wine to this if you like, if you want to make it a bit more sophisticated. I'm going to get the garlic in here next. So we just want a little bit of color on the onion, and then we want to give the garlic a stir to soften it up. And the meat goes in here next. So the tomatoes go in next. You can use good quality canned chopped tomatoes. You could also use fresh tomatoes for this. If you're making it in the summertime, it would be nice actually to use some fresh tomatoes. And a little bit of white wine. I'm going to let that cook down a little bit. It takes a few minutes for the alcohol to burn off. And we want to add our spices to this next. A couple of bay leaves. Cinnamon stick, which is very, very traditional in tomato-based sauces in Greece, especially tomato-based meat sauces. We almost always use cinnamon. Some allspice berries. And my little secret of just a strip of orange zest, which I really like. It adds a very nice kind of underlying pleasant acidity to this, and a lot of fragrance. And a bit of tomato paste, and then just some salt and pepper. And this will pretty much be done. Now I would typically cook this for at least a half hour. I'll let it cook for a few more minutes. Let me get a little salt and pepper in there. You want this to cook so that the flavors and the spices have a chance to develop. You can use any pasta for this. It works really nicely with spaghetti, with linguine, with ziti or rigatoni, pretty much anything you like. You can also use this as a filling for pasta shells. That would also be really, really nice. Here we go, okay. So while that's getting served, I'm actually going to add the pasta to this so you can kind of see what it looks like as a finished dish as well. So that's it. You can add a little bit of grated cheese to the top of this if you like.